Palestinian journalists in Gaza are not just covering the war, but they're also living through it. At least 109 Palestinian journalists have been killed in the conflict so far. The Palestinian officials in Gaza say that that could be much higher. More than 50 media premises or offices have been completely or partially destroyed by Israeli strikes, and that includes the office of the AFP bureau in Gaza. Hundreds of Palestinian journalists and their families, including our colleagues at Al Jazeera, have been forcibly displaced. They've had to abandon their reporting equipment in offices in the north to live and to report under difficult conditions amidst frequent communication blackouts. Journalists working in areas of armed conflict are protected under international humanitarian law, just like civilians under the Geneva Convention. But Israel has been accused of violating those rules of law repeatedly. Palestinian journalists say Israel is trying to kill the messenger and silence the story. Antoine Bernard is the Director of Advocacy at Reporters Without Borders and joins us now from Paris. Another journalist death, another high-profile death, which just highlights, as we said, the highest number of journalists ever killed in such a short period of time in a violent conflict.
Yes, indeed. And let me please first say that we at Reporters Without Borders are in real shock after this, murder of journalists and the death of Mustafa Thuraya and Hamza al-dahdouh, journalist for AFP, journalist for Al Jazeera. It appears, according to our information, that the car in which they were killed was directly targeted, and a single rocket fell directly on their car. This is what we're investigating right now. If such was the case, it would qualify as another war crime against journalists in Gaza. For RSF, 79 journalists killed in Gaza since 7 October. It's indeed what we call in French an hécatombe, a massive slaughter, and this has to stop.
It's easy to make the demands, isn't it, Mr. Bernard? Many organisations, humanitarian groups, journalist groups have asked for a ceasefire, have demanded a ceasefire. The public at large globally have. At what stage do you take this forward in your organisation? You collect all the evidence. Until what time can you then present it to people in power that can do something about it?
Well, from day one, in fact, RSF started taking all the information collected daily on crimes against journalists to people in power. More than that, we've triggered with formal criminal complaints the International Criminal Court as soon as 31st October, with a first complaint and a second one filed on 22nd December. We claim, at a minimum, war crimes have been perpetrated against journalists in Gaza. As I was saying, according to RSF figures, 79 journalists killed, among whom, according again to our investigation, 14 were killed in action, and some of them we fear, and we have reasonable grounds to believe, have been intentionally targeted, and that may be the case for Mustafa Thuraya and Hamza al-dahdouh, like it has been the case for Wael, we fear, on 15 December last. Let me take the opportunity to really say and pay tribute and say our admiration for the Al Jazeera team in general, and for Wael in particular, after what he's been, and again today, going through the death of his wife, his 3 kids now, himself being wounded on 15 December. This is heroic journalism, really.
From where you are, sir, in Paris, do you think the world cares? Do you think that the media cares where you are?
Of course, the mediators where we are, RSF is present in the whole world, headquarters in Paris, with offices in all regions, and I can confirm and testify that the world cares, Europe cares, France cares, but RSF does care, and we are all mobilized 24/7, like today, to be able to react. And to help and to support the Palestinian journalists, thanks to whom the world can watch, but the price they pay is much too heavy. This should not happen. It's a massacre. It's an unbearable massacre of journalists. Israel is eradicating journalism in Gaza. We will continue to refer to the International Criminal Court all the cases so that maximum priority is given by the prosecutor of the ICC to crimes against journalists, especially the crimes happening in Gaza now are just without precedent. This has to stop.
Antoine Bernard from Reporters Without Borders. Thank you, sir, for joining us from Paris.